He looks a little gay.
Was he someone that's your type?
No.
Okay, why not?
He looks a little gay.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not, it's okay, but
I mean, I'm here, right? Like,
So to confirm, you like women.
Like,
yeah.
He's on this lineup.
yeah.
Okay. All right. He's someone that's your type.
no.
Hey, yo, black men, what's happening? Peace, man. Now, in this video, I'm talking about something I've been talking about for the last couple of videos, right? And growing up, I was pretty oblivious to this, right? But I would start by saying this. In the ninth grade, I had a black woman who was actually trying to be a dyke, right? Again, we're in the ninth grade, we're 14 at the time. She's transitioning, right? She's trying to become a dyke. I assume. I think the stud is the female version of the dyke. So yeah, she wants to become a dyke. And this girl, she said, "I thought you were gay." Now, see, as a black man, right? When black women tell you stuff like that, trust me, you're doing the right thing. You don't need to change how you are, how you look, how you dress, how you behave, because for the most part, when black women do call black men gay, or "I thought you were gay," it's not because you were walking around with female mannerisms or, women tendencies. No, you weren't doing that. You weren't acting flamboyant, switching your hips when you walk and the hand finger rolling and stuff. You wasn't doing any of that. It's off of how you look and how you conduct yourself. Black men, think about this. When you see black women who want to become studs or femboys, or they want to become the dykes, look at which category of black men they try and emulate. The thug. That's because that's a clear indication that black women associate masculinity with the thug image. You will never see a dyke try and be a productive, square. And I'm not saying square as in it's a bad thing to be a square. No, a square is living a good life. A square is living a productive life. A square can go to sleep and he doesn't have to worry about federales kicking in his front door, alphabet boys, sitting outside his apartment or his house in a black van, trying to catch him on wiretap, saying something that that can incriminate himself. Squares are living good lives, but I'm talking about how black women, again, when they become these dykes and they want to be the masculine person in the relationship with another woman, they choose to emulate a thug. They get the tattoos, they start sagging their pants. It's just so funny to me. And in that video of the Pop the Balloon, the black woman is calling that man, "Oh, I thought you were gay." What do you mean you thought he was gay? What are you trying to insinuate? I mean, I get what you're trying to say. You thought he was a homosexual based off of what? And I'm gonna bring it to this point, right? I mentioned before, I don't know who's telling black women that they are making these smart decisions. I don't know who is, teaching black women any of these thoughts, right? But it could probably be the auntie, it could probably be the mother, it could probably be the sisters, the grandmother. And one thing about black women, they learn from a young age that on how to categorize men. Again, whatever the aunties, grandmother, mother, sisters, the friends within the community, whatever they're telling them about how to identify men is what they go off of. So when they're young, they're still learning these things. So again, they're willing to give more guys a chance. Once they become 18, 21, 25, it's in full effect. And see, I got the picture of this guy on the screen right now. The guy to the left is Tamar Johnson, and the female to the left, the female to the right is Tanaya Gray. And keep the picture right there, right? I'm getting to my point. And the thing with black women is by the time they reach 18, 21, 25, what they were doing as far as categorizing men from their teenage years, it's now in full effect. Again, they were being taught this stuff. So back then when they were teenagers, it was pretty subconscious, right? They were doing things, not really knowing they were doing it, wasn't really aware of it. It's just what they were taught, right? Now the fact that they're 18, 21, 25, 30 years old, listen, it's all conscious. They make these things a conscious decision. And again, who gave black women the right? Who gave them the master degree, the PhD? Who told them that they were right when it came down to making judgments of a man? And see, what's funny is black women believe that they can read you. I had a black woman tell me, an older black woman tell me, that when you look at a man, you can tell by his eyes if he is a homosexual. Huh? For you guys who are into the looks maxing community, so you're telling me by a man who has too much upper eyelid exposure, he's a homosexual? By a man who doesn't have what's the term you guys use? Protruding eyebrows, he's a homosexual? Because a man's eyeballs are either caved in or protruding out the eye socket, that means he's a homosexual. Based off him having a negative or positive canthal tilt, that means he's a homosexual. Based off his lower third or his what's the word you guys use, the Mandela or the Romulus, by him not having a square jawline, he's a homosexual. By his nose being of West African ancestry, he's a homosexual. Who is telling black women that they are making these decisions and that they're right about that? But see, what people don't realize is what black women operate in as far as within that mindset, that's the foundation of racism. Do you not see that? It's called pseudoscience. So you're telling me based off someone's facial features, you're a homosexual? Now, in that clip, I should go back and watch the video, but I'm not going to because I know black women. I don't have to watch the video to understand. Again, you saw the guy's face in that clip and you saw his outfit. Now, it's two things black women will try to antagonize you about is your appearance as far as facial features and your outfit. Now you could say based off his outfit, that's what she's going for and saying that he's a homosexual. But didn't guys like Prince wear stuff like that? Didn't guys like Michael Jackson wear stuff like that? Now, those guys probably did have the jacket put on them that they were, into men, but the jacket didn't fit, right? But again, they're going based off appearance. And I can tell you pretty much, dude, it's not even how you dress, because when I go back to when I was in the 9th grade and I had a dyke tell me that she thought I was gay. I'm like, what? And again, based off my outfit in the 9th grade, I wore Jordans to school. I wore cargo pants. I wore, jeans, Levi's, True Religion jeans. I wore jackets, Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister jackets. I wore bubble coats, like Timberland boots. Like, so you telling me based off my outfit, I was a homosexual? No. When black women, again, they're going off of your facial features. They're going based off of your voice. They're going based off of anything that they use to antagonize you, because who you are doesn't represent the stereotypical nigga. And again, for that same young black woman who called me, the same young black woman who said that she thought I was gay, right? She would try to emulate a thug. And it's funny is, by the time we got to like senior year of high school, graduation time, yeah, she was like a full blown like dyke, and it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a cool like the young MA or the young Ma version of a dyke. It was like a watered down version of her, and I'm like, That's the best. That's the best you can sum up over the last 4 years. That's the best you came up with trying to be a dyke, man. You're a bozo, and you thought I was gay. Come on, come on. But enough about me, right? But keep in mind what I just said. Now, the guy you see on the screen, the guy to the left, Tamal Johnson and Tanaya Gray to the right. Shout out to Murder Inc. Baltimore because I'm sorry, Murder Inc. Bmore because first of all, shout out to Maryland. I love Maryland. I lived on the DC side of Maryland, so I can't speak for Baltimore as far as what goes on over there. But I've been to Baltimore a couple of times, and I love Baltimore. It's a city that needs to be cleaned up, but man, I love Baltimore. Baltimore has a lot of character. It has a lot of good people in there. Again, I know you still have some bad stuff going on, maybe a lot of bad stuff, but trust me, Baltimore is a good city, man. Great food, good people, and the crime within that city, it is kind of out of control. But let's stay on topic right now, right? Now, the man to the left, he unalived the young woman to the right. The man to the left is 22 years old. The woman to the right is 23 years old, and he unalived her on Mother's Day. Now, first thing, right? What will take a man so far that he will unalive a woman? You know it's about pussy. You know it's either she wasn't giving it to him, either she was cheating on him, or you know, something along those lines of pussy. Like it was the fact of pussy, you know, being taken by somebody else, or you know, along those lines. Because again, for a man to actually unalive a woman, he's not unaliving a woman he doesn't have any feelings for. That's just not how black men operate. Even black men who I make the videos for, and in 10%, listen, we're not going around trying to unalive black women because of rage or what they didn't do in the past or what they did do in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, even the typical hood Tyrone Pookie, he's not going, you know, running around taking out black women. That's not happening. So my point with this video is this same young man, and he was a repeat violent offender. I went in the comment section and women were defending, I don't really know whose side they were trying to take. They were defending the young black woman, of course, but they were also giving this guy some kind of pass. See, it was men in the comment section saying, listen, another stereotypical nigga, you know what I'm saying, but you guys hate these 9-to-5 guys, but you love these hood niggas. And a lot of guys were saying that in the comment section, and women were getting offended, and they started to talk crap and defend the young woman. And they were saying how, listen, oh, they weren't involved, they weren't dating, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, why are you guys trying to protect her? Now, condolences to this young woman because she lost her life. And again, her life was taken by this stereotypical Tyrone. But again, you see this young man has a tattoo on his face. You see the young man has a tattoo on his neck. Again, one thing about guys who put tattoos on their face, that says, I do not want to work. Listen, can you still actually have a legal job with a face tattoo? Yes, but it's going to be in an entrepreneur lane. You cannot go get no corporate job with a tattoo on your face. Listen, if you want to be a data analyst, you want to be a QA engineer, software engineer, you want to go work in IT, even though you do work from home within some roles in IT, in that job interview, you're not going to get that job with that tattoo on your face. You feel me? If you want to look like the stereotypical nigga, listen, working a 9-to-5 is not the route for you. You might be able to have a mediocre, low end 9-to-5 job, but 9-to-5 jobs where you actually have upward mobility based off of your skills, nah. And again, that's going to be more in the entrepreneurial blue collar lane. But if you're going white collar, even if you're going blue collar but not on the entrepreneurial side, why would the employer hire you and you have your street tatted on your face, or you got your dead homie tatted on your face, bro? Like, come on now. But again, repeat violent offender, 22 years old, tattoo on his face, tattoo on his neck, and he killed this young woman. And again, a man is not taking out a woman because he just, it was random. Like, no, this was over quote unquote love. Somebody's heart was broken, and it's probably his. And from what the report said, the young woman was found in a vehicle with multiple gunshot wounds to her body. Come on, bro. So again, let me ask you this, right? Why does this same young man have access to that black woman when in the previous video, and again, look where I'm trying to draw the line of correlation, right? A black woman will say that other guy in that video clip, she said that, oh, he looks gay. Huh? So what about this young man in the picture to the left? Why doesn't he look like a homosexual? He's a violent offender, which means a violent repeat offender, which means he's been going back and forth to jail and or prison. And now that he killed a young woman, he's definitely going back to prison for a long time, where he will be surrounded by men. And the fact that he killed a woman, he's going to be a target for other men for physical violence and SA. And who's to say that in his other jail or prison bids, there wasn't either physical violence or SA involved? So what makes the other guy in the first clip, oh, he looks homosexual compared to the guy right here on the screen? Does he not look homosexual? Violent repeat offender? Oh, but he has a face tat. Oh, but he goes to jail. He's tough. I want a man who will drop me. Listen, I said in that, I'm sorry, I didn't say it. The woman in that one video said it a while back. I think it was Black Men Save These Black Boys or something like that, right? She said, I want a man who's tough. I want a man who's gangster. I want a man who will drop my dumb ass. That's what the black woman said out her mouth. I want a man who will drop me. Well, here you go. And again, it's not about these two individuals specifically, but you guys see where I'm going with this, right? Again, rest in peace to the young woman, but is this not what black women want? You want the guy who's tough. You want the guy who's gangster. You equate going to jail, going to prison with being tough. You equate masculinity with being the aggressor, with being the perpetrator, with being the suspect. You equate masculinity being tough and manhood with a man who will put his hands on you, and at the drop of a dime, at the split change within his emotions, he will take your life. Because you look for the men who will emotionally respond versus intellectually react. You look for the men who are strong of body, weak of mind. You look for the men who you can control. You look for the men who will bring down the IQ of our population. Hence why black young men will try to fit the stereotype versus moving from it. And when you don't fit the stereotype, you are gay. You are a square. You are a nerd. You are lame. You are either invisible or you're just non-existent. I mean, which can go in line with invisible, but I would say there's a line between invisible and the person that they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you're pretty much a background character. You're an extra in a movie. You know, they might not mind interacting with you, but don't expect this to be anything more than what it is. And you know what? Me personally, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with only having to talk to your ilk, right? Talk to your kin on a job. That's it. when it comes to customer service, let's hold on. Let me tell you guys how far I go. Let me tell you how savage I really am. Right, I went out for brunch about a week ago. Yeah, I'll say a week ago, and there was a black woman. So the way I was sitting at the restaurant, my seat was facing the door. The building only had one entrance, one exit, right? But I was facing the door. So there's a black woman walking from behind me, and I believe she dropped her lip gloss. I think. I really don't know because I didn't really get a really good look at what she dropped, but I heard something drop and I heard the noise come from behind me. And apparently, I guess the lip gloss, I'm gonna just run with the fact that it might be lip gloss. It hit the ground and it slid not underneath the table, but it slid like pretty much a couple inches away from my foot, but not like underneath the table to where I can reach forward or move with my feet, right? Now I'm like in the middle of eating my food. I'm devouring my plate. Is great, right? So when the lip gloss landed by my foot, I'm gonna say at least a couple seconds, maybe 2 to 3, 5 seconds went past before I even looked down to see what was by my foot. And as I looked down, there's a black woman who's in front of me. I didn't really get a strong look at her face, but she's in the process of bending down to grab the lip gloss. So I like raise myself back up and I go back to eating and I let her grab it. And I guess maybe she wanted me to pick it up and hand it to her, but I'm not doing that. And again, like I said, my seat is facing the door. So as she's walking to the door, I can see, she has a very nice body, a very nice shape within her dress, curvy, all of that stuff. And I seen about 3 children running behind her. And I'm like, I'm not gonna pick it up. You know what I'm saying? And there was another time how I was in a grocery store and there was a black woman who wanted me to put some water in her case. I'm not saying put some water in her case, put a water case in her grocery cart. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, the water's at the top of the aisle. So when she hit the corner, I saw her immediately, right? She's pushing a grocery cart. Mind you, this is a middle-aged woman. I would say late 30s, early 40s. She was on the cell phone and she was not in a wheelchair. She did not have crutches. She did not have a cast on her arm. You know what I'm saying? She was pushing a grocery cart and she asked me, can I put some water in her grocery cart? Man, listen, I made a stink face. Like, you know how females will make a stink face if you try to get their phone number, or you try and flirt with them in public, and you trying to bag them, and they make that stink face at you, or whatever scenario a black woman might make a stink face, and like that's the face I made, dude. I made this stink face and I kept it pushing. I'm like, nah. I'm serious about this, dude, because you know what? If I can't have access to you guys in a equal relationship, because again, somebody might say, "Oh, bro, you shooting for black women who are out your range." What? Most people are average. Most people. If you think there's a whole bunch of 9s and 10s and 8s walking around within every racial group, man, your standards are low. You are just a starved out individual. And see, the black woman on my screen, again, rest in pieces to her, but again, that same chick, dude, she's not no 10. You know what I'm saying? I even mentioned in one of my videos back in the day, I was dating women who were on the same attractiveness level as Cooking with Kaya. And Cooking with Kaya isn't no 10. I don't know what you guys would rate her to be, but she's like a 5.5, a 6. You know what I'm saying? Like most people on the planet are 4 to 6. That's average. A 5 is considered average, but a 6 isn't that much higher than a 5. You know what I'm saying? Like if you compare a woman who's a legit 5 and a legit 6, there isn't too much difference between them. Again, you can say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I'm pretty sure if you was to ask a group of 5 or 10 men to rate just one woman, and she's actually attractive, right? Again, because you have to look at the common denominator, you have to look at the average, the median, right? If her rating falls within a median range of, let's say, 7 and 8 or 6 to 8, that's an attractive woman. Like, come on, dude. But anyways, you guys kind of see where I'm going with this. Again, you get criticized for your look. Again, black women think that they're the masters of pseudoscience, and pseudoscience is the foundation of racism, because you are pretty much saying that based off someone's facial features, I can determine how you will behave. Well, you know what? If you're going based off my facial features, how I will behave, the same features that you have, the same features that you are insecure about and don't like, and you have trained me to not like them, because I know when these same features are on you or within you, you have self-hatred, you have insecurity. You feel me? And because of that, I don't look for black women. And that's one of my reasons. That's one of my reasons, right? But black men, all I'm saying is, man, listen, the access to you, the access to them are denied to you by things that you can't control. But then when you look at what she can control based off of her accessories, the weave, the wigs, the long eyelashes, the drawn on eyebrows, you know what I'm saying? You feel? And if you want to talk about the features, the big nigga forehead, the wide nose, the big lips, you know what I'm saying? The 80% overweight, 50% obese, or I think it might be the other way around. 80% overweight, 60% obese. I'm done. Peace, man.